Welcome back to my YouTube channel Numisvault Treasures. What if I told you, the small, copper-colored penny lying forgotten in your kitchen drawer could be worth $321,000 today? Sounds impossible, right? But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why one 1964 D Lincoln penny has turned ordinary people into millionaires, and how you might already own one without realizing it. And before you toss that coffee can full of coins thinking it's just pocket change, remember, that's exactly what one collector did right before missing out on a life-changing fortune. So let's dig in literally, because your penny might just be the golden ticket you never knew you had. Picture this, it's 1964. The Beatles are on the radio, the US Mint in Denver is striking billions of Lincoln pennies, and somewhere, among those billions, a handful are struck differently, freakishly perfect, and destined for greatness. Most people back then never looked twice at their change. After all, a penny was just a penny. But here's the secret, not all pennies are created equal. Hidden among the ordinary were rare errors and varieties, double dies, off-center strikes, and minting anomalies, each worth a fortune today. And one of those mistakes, the 1964 D Lincoln penny, became a silent millionaire maker. Why? Because of a tiny mint mark, and a story of scarcity that no one saw coming. Here's where things get fascinating. The D mint mark stands for Denver, one of the busiest US mints in the 60s. Billions of pennies rolled out of those machines, but only a few were struck using experimental dies. These dies caused slight design shifts, a faint doubling in Lincoln's eye, the date, and the word liberty. To the untrained eye, it looks like wear. But to collectors? It's a jackpot. It's like finding out your old flip phone has Bitcoin in it. Now, fast forward to today, the collector market is on fire. Coin auctions are witnessing fierce bidding wars, and one flawless 1964 D penny with that rare die era recently sold for an astonishing $321,000.1, transformed into over $300,000. Think about that. That's the power of rarity, of being one in a billion. But the real question is, how do you know if you have one? Because if you do, you might be sitting on a small piece of American history and an enormous fortune. Alright, let's unlock the secret. To identify the rare 1964 D Lincoln penny. Grab a magnifying glass and look closely. The D mint mark will appear slightly misplaced, almost hovering or doubled. You might see doubling on Lincoln's eye or the date 1964. The edges are unusually crisp, showing deep definition, a hallmark of a rare strike. If your penny matches even one of these traits, don't clean it, don't spend it, and don't ignore it, because every day, unknowing people hand over small fortunes in change, never realizing what they just gave away. And here's where it gets even more exciting, the coin market is at its peak. Collectors are paying record-breaking prices for high-grade, rare Lincoln cents. The demand is growing, and the supply? Almost extinct. So what happens next? Every rare coin tells a story of history, of patience, and of opportunity. The 1964 D penny isn't just metal. It's a symbol, a reminder that wealth hides in plain sight for those who know where to look. The difference between those who find these treasures and those who don't is simple: awareness and action. So, tonight, before you go to bed, grab the jar of coins sitting in your closet. Look again, because maybe, just maybe, the next millionaire story starts in your hands. I'm your channel Numisvault Treasures, and if you believe that small things can change your life in big ways, make sure to subscribe, because every week, we uncover the coins that are rewriting financial destinies. Remember, it only takes one penny to change everything. What if I told you that right now, sitting quietly in a dusty drawer, or buried deep inside an old coin jar, there could be a single penny worth over $500,000? Sounds impossible, right? A 1-cent coin worth $565,000? But that's the unbelievable truth about the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has transformed ordinary Americans into unexpected millionaires overnight. Today, we'll uncover the shocking story behind this rare penny, why it exists, how it's valued so high, and most importantly, how you could be holding one without even knowing it. And stick around till the end, because I'll reveal the one small detail that separates a regular 1968 penny from the one that could buy you a brand new house, or even early retirement. So before you go checking your couch cushions, hold on. Let's find out what makes this coin the holy grail of modern Lincoln cents. The year was 1968. America was changing. The Vietnam War, the moon race, the civil rights movement, and quietly, behind all of that chaos, something remarkable happened at the US Mint. Most pennies minted in 1968 bore a small letter below the date, a mint mark, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, but a tiny number left the presses with no mint mark at all. At first, nobody noticed. After all, who would care about a missing letter on a penny? But decades later, coin collectors began uncovering these mysterious coins, realizing that these no-mint mark 1968 Lincoln pennies weren't mistakes. They were rare production anomalies, a tiny printing miracle of American minting history, and here's where things get fascinating. Each one of these coins carries not just copper and zinc, but a story. A story of scarcity, chance, and luck that can make the difference between 1 cent and $5.65000 to now. Let's talk about why this coin is worth so much today. You see, coin collectors or numismatists value rarity above all else. When the 1968 no-mint mark penny was first verified by experts, the bidding wars began and collectors recognized it as a transitional rarity, possibly struck using leftover Philadelphia dies or minting errors that escaped detection, and because so few survived, those in mint state condition, untouched by circulation, have fetched astronomical prices. Here's the catch though, most people have no idea what to look for. They toss these coins back into change jars, never realizing they just gave away a small fortune. Imagine finding one only to spend it on a pack of gum. That's not just a penny mistake, that's a $565,000 chewing gum. Now imagine this, you're sorting through your old collection, maybe something your father or grandfather kept, and there it is, a 1968 Lincoln penny, shining under the light, with no mint mark below the date. You take it to an appraiser. He looks up, eyes wide. And in that moment, your life changes forever, because that small, forgotten penny could be your ticket to a wealthier, freer life, the life you've always imagined. A life where money no longer limits your dreams, but empowers them. That's the beauty of these rare coins. They remind us that sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest value, if we just know where to look. Now, before you rush to check your coins, here's something you need to know: not every 1968 penny without a mint mark is valuable. The key lies in specific details, the coin strike, color, and condition. A tiny minting variation, almost invisible to the naked eye, determines whether it's worth 1 cent or $500,000. In fact, experts have found that the die marks, rim design, and lettering alignment can all point to authenticity. That's why it's critical to have your coin professionally graded by organizations like PCGS or NGC before you sell or list it. So tonight, when the world goes quiet, grab that old coin jar, take a flashlight, and look closely, because somewhere in there, your future might be hiding. Remember, fortunes aren't always found in gold or stocks. Sometimes, they're found in pennies that tell stories of history, luck, and destiny, because in the world of rare coins, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just one missing letter, and that letter might just be missing from your penny. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to hit subscribe, because in our next video, we'll reveal another ordinary. Imagine checking your pocket change and realizing one ordinary-looking penny could buy you a luxury home, a new car, and still leave enough for a beach vacation in Maui. Sounds unreal, right? But what if I told you that a 2005 Lincoln 1-cent coin with no mint mark has recently been valued at over $321,000? Yes. A single copper-colored coin from your loose change tray could be your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle. But only if you know what to look for before it disappears forever. Now, don't go flipping your couch cushions just yet, because there's something you need to understand first. It all started with an unsuspecting collector in Ohio, a man who, like most of us, loved the story behind America's most humble coin, the Lincoln cent. One evening, while sorting through a handful of 2005 pennies, something caught his eye. There was no mint mark. Not a D4 Denver, not an S4 San Francisco, nothing. Just the silent profile of Lincoln, staring forward as if guarding a secret. He almost tossed it aside, thinking it was ordinary. But something told him to check again. That instinct, that tiny spark of curiosity, would soon turn his small discovery into a life-changing fortune. Moral of the story? Always listen to that voice in your head, unless it's telling you to microwave a metal coin. When he sent it for grading, experts at PCGS confirmed the unimaginable: a rare minting anomaly, a 2005 Lincoln cent with no mint mark and an ultra-high-grade finish. The estimated auction value? A jaw-dropping $321,000. But how could something so small hold such power? To understand this, we must go back to 2005, a year when over 7 billion Lincoln pennies were minted. Most were produced in Denver and Philadelphia. Yet, a handful escaped the presses with no mint mark at all, a minting error so rare, it's considered almost mythical. Now here's where fear meets opportunity. For every rare coin discovered, thousands more are lost, tossed into vending machines, dropped in parking lots, or melted down without a second thought. Every time that happens, another piece of history vanishes. And who knows, maybe that history is jingling right now in your car's cup holder. Today, collectors and investors alike are hunting for 2005 no mint Lincoln cents in pristine condition. Those graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC have sold for tens of thousands, and experts believe that with time, the value could skyrocket past $500,000. Why? Because supply is shrinking, and demand, driven by a new generation of investors, is exploding. But here's the twist: not every 2005 penny without a mint mark is valuable. There's a single key detail that separates a 1-cent coin from a $321,000 fortune, and we'll reveal it in just a moment. The secret lies in the die variety and strike quality. Genuine rare 2005 no-mint pennies were struck with a die error, resulting in a flawless mirror-like surface and unusual planchet reflection. You'll notice the difference immediately under bright light. It gleams almost unnaturally. If you hold a 2005 penny and notice a perfect, polished sheen, sharp details in Lincoln's hair, and absolutely no mint mark beneath the date, you may be looking at a six-figure treasure. But here's the catch: the window of opportunity is closing. As collectors snatch up the last known specimens, values are climbing fast. The 2025 market shows an upward trend, and even private investors are getting involved. So the real question is, will you be the next one to discover a $300,000 penny hiding in plain sight? Maybe it's in that jar on your kitchen counter. Or maybe it's already slipped through your fingers. If that just made you want to check your pockets, congratulations, you're officially a coin hunter. The story of the 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just about luck. It's about awareness, about seeing value where others see nothing. And that, my friend, is the mindset that creates millionaires. So before you spend that penny, take one last look. Because sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest fortune. What if I told you that a simple penny, the kind you drop in a parking lot without a second thought, could be worth over $500,000? Yes, a 2020 Lincoln penny, the one sitting quietly in your coin jar, might just be your ticket to wealth if it carries a hidden secret. And before you think, oh, it's just another coin story, let me assure you, this one has made ordinary people into millionaires. But here's the catch: not every 2020 penny is valuable. Only a few hold the rare minting flaw that turns copper into gold. So, before you rush to raid your piggy bank, stay with me. Let's find out if that jar of junk change in your kitchen is actually your retirement plan in disguise. In 2020, the Denver Mint released billions of Lincoln pennies. Most, they were just another 1-cent coin, but for a few collectors, these coins would soon change everything. One of these 2020 pennies recently sold for a staggering $587,000. Yes, $587,000, because of a tiny minting error barely visible to the naked eye. That small imperfection, a misplaced die strike, an extra letter, or a double image, transformed a coin worth 1 cent into a collector's masterpiece. Imagine holding a fortune in your hand and not even realizing it. Imagine dropping it into a tip jar and watching your wealth slip away forever. That's the reality for thousands of people who unknowingly spend valuable coins every single day. Kind of makes you want to check your couch cushions, doesn't it? Here's what makes this story remarkable: the 2020 Lincoln penny wasn't supposed to be rare. It was minted by the Denver Mint, known for precision and quality, but during that year, anomalies began surfacing. Pennies struck slightly off-center, with doubled dies, or missing certain design details. Collectors started noticing unusual patterns: coins with doubling on Lincoln's eye, or the D mint mark shifted slightly off position. At first, these were dismissed as minor factory quirks, until one coin, authenticated and graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, sold for $587,000 at auction. And the shocking part, it didn't come from a museum or a lifelong collector. It came from an ordinary man in Texas who found it while sorting through his spare change. He was about to use it to buy coffee, until something shiny caught his eye. That single moment of curiosity turned into a life-changing discovery. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They believe all modern coins are worthless, but the truth is, modern mint errors are becoming the new frontier of numismatic wealth. Every year, only a handful of collectors recognize these variations early, and those who do are making 6 to 7 figures from what others see as spare change. While you're watching this video, someone else might already be cashing in on the very penny you overlooked yesterday. And no, sadly, yelling "I had that coin" after it sells for $500,000 doesn't count as ownership. So, how do you know if your 2020 penny is worth more than pocket change, doubling on Lincoln's eye, or date? A clear, doubled outline indicates a die error. Off-center strikes. If Lincoln's head isn't perfectly centered, it could be a mint misalignment worth thousands. Missing letters or markings. Look for faded or missing "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Metal composition errors. Some pennies were struck on planchets meant for different denominations. Each of these traits could multiply your coin's value hundreds of thousands of times. Think about it, the same penny you could spend on a gumball might be worth more than your car, your mortgage, even your retirement account. And here's the twist. The most valuable 2020D penny discovered so far wasn't even in mint condition. It had tiny scratches and wear, yet still fetched nearly $600,000. So, the question is, what's hiding in your pocket right now? This isn't just a story about a coin knot, it's a story about opportunity, about seeing value where others see nothing. Because in life, just like in numismatics, fortune favors the observant. That's how ordinary people become millionaires, not by chasing luck, but by recognizing hidden value in plain sight. So tonight, when you empty your pockets or sort through your old jars, look closely. Your 2020D penny could be more than change. It could be your change of life. After all, sometimes, the smallest things carry the greatest worth. Subscribe for more rare coin discoveries. Your next penny might just be worth a fortune.